Good morning. Happy Saturday. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom to hopefully color your day in a positive way. So we'll give it some time for people to jump on, and I'm feeling the need for a little more expanded tapping today and some grounding. So we shall do that. But I think we'll give it a minute until we have at least one person who's popped on. So I'm working with somebody instead of, with the screen. So hope you all had a good Friday. Yeah, here we are. So I was watching a YouTube video of a young woman I follow who lives in Denmark, and I believe she was gifted a overnight stay. Good morning, Abigail, glad you're here. An overnight stay in a castle in Denmark, and it was so much fun watching her explore this castle. And I could see the gears turning in her head in terms of, how do I get more of this in my life? It was a pretty cool place. So, and great advertising for them because she's got a huge following on YouTube. So there she was with her trip to her castle. So let's start with some tapping. I said, Abigail, I was waiting until someone hopped on so I could be working with somebody instead of just with the screen. So glad you're here. Glad you're here. What we're going to do is a round of tapping for grounding. So if you can, feet flat on the floor. And I want you to imagine little trapdoors in the bottom of your feet, and they drop open, and roots descend from those trapdoors down into Mother Earth. And as we're doing our tapping, you can imagine those roots going deeper and deeper and deeper. Good morning, Carolyn. We're going to do a round of tapping for grounding. So let's start with the side of the hand. Nice deep breath in and out. Even though sometimes I go ungrounded, I still love and accept myself. Grounding through my feet, grounding through the base of my spine, grounding deeply into Mother Earth. Okay, inside corner of the eyes. I feel balanced. Outside corner of the eyes. I feel grounded. Under the eyes. I am connected to the divine and Mother Earth. Under the nose. But what if I lose track of that? Under the mouth. What if I don't feel that? Collarbone. I can always return. Under the arms. I can return through my breath. Nice deep breath in and out around the crown of the head. And I can return through imagining these deep roots. Inside corner of the eyebrows. I know we're all connected. Outside corner of the eyes. I know I'm a connection between heaven and earth. Under the eyes, I know I have divine guidance. Another breath. Out. Under the nose, I know all of this. Under the mouth, I am grounded. Collarbone, I feel solidly connected to Mother Earth. Good morning, Gwen. We're just doing some tapping for groundedness. Under the arms, I feel grounded. And around the crown of the head. One more nice deep breath in. And out. And I'll tell you why I selected grounding for today. Because yesterday was probably, it would make it into the top 20 of crappy days in my life. And I found myself sitting in the park going, now what? How do I regroup from this? How do I bounce back? How do I get on with my life. How do I, and doing all the things, tapping, etc., etc., breathing. And I had talked to my friend Bobby and was saying, you know, I'm doing all this stuff today. I journaled, I did my cacao ceremony, all the things, and it didn't feel like it was helping. Had those days? Most of us have. And she said, well, you know, Bon, my experience is when you are doing all the things and you're not feeling it get any traction, you're not feeling any better, you're not shifting gears, your mind isn't coming to different conclusions, it's because you're not grounded. And I'm like, oh. I mean, this is probably the bazillionth time that that concept has come across my radar screen, but I needed to hear it again. And so that's why I picked the reading I picked for today, because we need to hear it again. So this is from Outrageous Openness by Tosha Silver, Letting the Divine Take the Lead. And again, I think another piece for most of us, and I know we have some self-avowed control freaks on right now, that, and we know the more controlling we are, the more out of control we feel, right? Good morning, Mel. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. And a piece of that is because we're not then in the flow. We're not in that place of allowing. We're not in a place of flexibility. We're in that place of rigidity. I've got to hold on for dear life or everything's going to spin out of control. When actually it's because I'm holding on for dear life, it feels like everything is spinning out of control. Hold on loosely. So, I'm reading from the foreword. We aren't even into the book. I'm reading from the foreword, and there's 3 little chunks that I want to read to remind all of us about the importance of divine right timing and divine right order, and staying grounded. When the winds are whipping, staying grounded. Using our tree analogy, the roots run deep, especially that tap root, to keep us grounded as the branches are doing this thing in the wind, right? So I'm on page XI, which would be 11, in the foreword. So take a breath. Let it go. Open yourself to receiving these words yet again. And don't fret that it's yet again. It's the nature of human beings. We need, and she says this is the beginning of this part. Ready? Like most people, thank you, Abigail, for posting that. Thank you, Carolyn, for posting that. Yes. Like most people, I find that I need to be reminded about divine order over and over, because we forget. The ego truly thinks it's in charge. It believes that turning our problems over to a greater power is ridiculous. Our culture is all about hard work and control, but zilch about letting go and following the lead of a higher power. Let's just breathe that in for a moment. Our culture is steeped in this. How likely is it that we as the fish swimming in this water of it's all about hard work, it's all about control, are going to be able to stay with it's all about letting go, turning it over, trusting the wisdom of the universe? How likely is it we're going to be able to hang on to that in this pea soup of power and control? No. We're going to keep approximating. We're going to return to that grounded place of divine right timing and divine right order and turning things over. Yes, we're going to. But to hang on to it all the way through, yeah. It erodes. So let me read that again. The ego truly thinks it's in charge. It believes that turning problems over to a greater power is ridiculous. Our culture is all about hard work and control, but zilch about letting go and following the lead of a higher power. After all, there's an acute shortage of double-blind, placebo-controlled studies to prove that offering your troubles to the divine can work miracles. Good morning, Beth. Glad you're here. Yet, this is my experience and that of thousands who have embraced this way of being. Become aligned with the spontaneous creative impulses of the universe in a way that's unique to each person. Good morning, Janine. And I love that people are popping on now, because basically what this tells me is we all need this right now. We all desperately need this right now. And the fact that it's desperately tells us we're hanging on too tight. Let's take a breath on that. Let it go. Loosen the grip. Another breath. So, this is Christiane Northrup, who's an MD, talking about Tosha's book. Tosha's advice that the perfect solution to any problem is already picked. You will be guided to it the right way at the right time has helped me and thousands of others metabolize more stress hormones than any medicine I've ever prescribed. Yes, exactly what Gwen's saying. We need to let go and follow the lead of the divine. Our ego wants us to believe that we're all knowing and we've got it all figured out and we can see the big picture, and our ego is wrong. Flat out wrong. Okay? So, following this advice, the perfect solution to any problem is already picked. You will be guided to it in the right way at the right time. That helps metabolize stress hormones more than any medicine she's ever prescribed. Wholeheartedly agree. And she uses a word in this next sentence that makes me laugh. But I'll read the sentence and then I'll come back and tell you. You simply sit back, offer the challenge you're facing to the divine, and wait for the nudge. And the word I'm circling is simply. It ain't simple. It ain't easy, right? Well, it is simple. It probably is. It isn't easy. That's sitting back. I remember from 15, 20 years ago, it was at one of my coaching trainings when I was taking, and she said, I want you to lean back into the arms of the divine. And I imagined this big hand, and I was sitting right about here and leaning back, and it went, it was like rigid, trying to lean back into the support of the divine. Yeah, that stuff. So I'm going to read the sentence again because there's a little more that also makes me laugh. You simply sit back, offer the challenge you're facing to the divine, and wait for a nudge from a more expanded version of your own self, not some white-haired judgmental guy with a beard sitting on a cloud waiting to punish us. You're shown the steps to take. And that was part of why yesterday was in my top 20 miserable days of my life, because it was right back into the church, because I was at a funeral, and all of the stuff in the church that doesn't work for me. And I was sitting there attempting to be grounded and letting go of the stuff, right? And it was funny because I'd had a great conversation with Bobby earlier in the day. Good morning, Mary. Glad you're here. Welcome. And the point was made that when things are said that are so outside our realm of willingness to go along with that, Lord, I am not worthy to receive you, but only say the words and I shall be healed. I am worthy, I am worthy, I am worthy. Over and over and over. So we're shown what steps to take. For me, a step was then going and sitting in the park, being in nature, doing some journaling at one of the picnic tables, breathing deeply, grounding through my feet, all the things, right? All the things. So, here's the end of Christiane Northrup's foreword to Tosha Silver's book, but I think it is beautiful guidance for us today. Another breath. Let it go. Soften. Lean back. Be outrageously open to the lead of the divine beloved. Surrender into the arms of God, Spirit, whatever, in whatever form appeals to you. We don't all have to see it the same. And prepare to find your life blooming and growing in ways that you couldn't possibly have orchestrated yourself. How many of us have those life experiences that as we're making the decisions, we can't see that that's even going to be a possibility, and all of a sudden it comes into the light. Like, holy crap, I never would have thought of that. Watch for the signs. They are everywhere. They are designed to delight your soul and light up your life in ways you never imagined. And the important piece for us to remember here is when we're in freak out control mode, we're not making any room for this divine, beautiful unfolding, right? When we're grasping at, what road am I going to take? What path am I going to try? What am I going to do? Do, instead of who am I going to be? In this moment, divinely guided, who am I going to be? And how do I choose that more and more and more? With the breath. Dropping the shoulders, with some tapping, with some laughter perhaps, with some laughter. I like to think that the universe observes human beings and just kind of, oh, you humans. So, surrender into the arms of God in whatever form appeals to you, and prepare to find your life blooming and growing in ways that you couldn't possibly have orchestrated yourself. Watch for the signs. They are everywhere. They are designed to delight your soul and light up your life in ways you never imagined. And a breath. And hopefully that helps you feel better the way it helped me feel better, and to have some hopefulness. Yes, the possibilities are endless. We just have to be open to their unfolding. Yes, Abigail. Spot on. So imagine all of us. There's 7 on here, and with me makes 8. Imagine all of us breathing together, linking arms, waiting, observing, getting our guidance, following those steps, waiting again, every time we get to a crossroads, waiting for the guidance, knowing that in that crossroads, I'm glad you love this, because I love this too, and I needed this today after yesterday. Oy. So, practicing. Imagine all of us practicing. There's Bobby. Good morning. I was sharing how helpful you were to me yesterday. Yes, talk to God and say, I know you have a plan. Please help me follow. And then I go back to my little card that's sitting right here. Spirit, if you wish this done, I need your help co-creating. You know my limits. The perfect road is already selected. So if this is the path, please fling open the doors. If it's meant to be, please bring me the ideal people and resources to do it. They're there. The ideal people, the ideal circumstances, the ideal resources, the ideal energy, it's already there. It's about us being ready to receive it, breathing ourselves open. It's about us being willing to quiet our ego self who says it has to be this way. No. Thank you for your opinion. You can go to the back of the bus now. I'll drive. Spirit is driving. The universe is driving. The co-collaborative efforts are driving. And how are we doing at turning this over? Okay, I've brought it this far with your guidance. I need some more guidance now. I'll wait patiently and quietly. That P word, yeah, I'm not so good at that one. patiently and quietly for your next guidance, and we go from there, one step after another. And there's one, oh, I know where it is. Another Dove Bar wisdom. You ready? Small steps can still walk miles. Go your own pace. Go your own pace. So I loved this one. So it's hanging out. It's hanging out with the other Dove one that I have. Book the flight. Book the flight. That's Bree from Michigan. And that one arrived the last day I could have signed up for, not this trip, the previous trip. And I'm like, okay, I need some guidance on this. I can't decide. Am I going to spend this amount of money to go? And that was Spain and Portugal. To go to Spain and Portugal, opened up this book the flight. It's like, okay, can we be any more clear than that? Sometimes the universe likes to be a little cheesy with its, you see the billboard, right? You see the bumper sticker, you hear the song on the radio, whatever it is, or it's the Dove Bar. Small steps can still walk miles. Go your own pace. So, that is it for today. Yes, I'll wait patiently and quietly for your advice, for your guidance. That part is the practice, the journey, embracing the process, letting go of the outcome. That's probably one of the biggest pieces for me. Do this with grace. Do this with patience. Ha ha ha. Have an awesome day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.